Stand on a bridge in London at night and look both the sides. On one side you will see an old stone castle, almost 1,000 years old. On the other side you see tall glass towers that are only a few years old. London could have knocked the old castle down, but it never did. The city keeps its old things and it builds the new ones right next to them. Almost 9 million people live here and they speak more than 300 languages. Most of them were born in the other countries, so London is not really one city. It is many cities in one place and sharing the same streets. This city has burned down and enemy planes have bombed it. But every time, London built itself again, right on the top of the old parts. So wherever you stand, there is always an older London under your feet. Stay with me. I will show you the big sights, the big things to do, and the food, and how to move around the city like someone who lives here. Let us start with the oldest place of all, the Tower of London. People call it the Tower, as if it is one building, but it is not. It is really 21 towers with 2 thick stone walls around them. A king named William started building it just after the year 1066. He had just won England in a war and people did not like him. So he built this huge castle by the river to make people look up to it and feel small. For hundreds of years, this one place had 3 different jobs. It was a home for kings, a prison, and a place where people were killed. Today, the tower keeps 2 special things. First, the crown jewels, safe behind thick glass. And second, 6 big black birds called ravens. There is an old story about them. It says that if the ravens were ever leaving, the crown will fall and England will fall with it. So one man called the Raven Master feeds them by hand every day and trims their wings feathers a little so that they cannot fly far. Many people think this story is not really that old and that somebody probably invented it. But the birds are still there. In London, a good story slowly becomes the truth. Now step outside and you meet one of the most famous bridges in the world, Tower Bridge. It has 2 tall towers and a blue-white frame, and you have seen it in thousands of photos. But most people get its name wrong. They call it London Bridge, which is actually the plain grey bridge next to it. That simple mistake has been happening for over 100 years. Tower Bridge can still move. The road in the middle splits into 2 and each half lifts high into the air so that the tall boats can pass underneath. One day it almost went very wrong. In 1952, a red bus was crossing the bridge just as the road sign began to open. The road under the wheel started to rise. The driver, Albert Pinter, had 1 second to decide. He pushed the pedal hard and the bus jumped across the gap. All 20 passengers were safe. He broke his leg, but he became a legend. Check the times online, then wait and watch. This old machine still does its job perfectly more than 100 years later. Now follow the river west towards the most famous sound in the world, Big Ben. Here is a strange part. Big Ben is not the tower and it is not the clock. Big Ben is a giant bell inside and it is incredibly heavy. heavier than two large elephants. For a long time, people just called the tower the Clock Tower. It only got its real name in 2012, when it became the Elizabeth Tower in honor of the Queen. The bell first rang in 1859, but after a few months it cracked. Nobody could fix it well, so they turned the bell a little and hit it with a lighter hammer. That crack is still there today. So the most famous sound in the Britain comes from a broken bell, and somehow that feels right for the city. Next to the tower are the Houses of Parliament, where the country leaders have argued about its future for hundreds of years. And just across the road stands Westminster Abbey. This is where a new king or queen is crowned, and it has been the same spot for almost 1,000 years, since 1066. King Charles was crowned here in 2023, sitting on a wooden chair that is over 700 years old. Kings, queens, and great thinkers are all buried under the floor. To reach the exit, you walk right over them. A short walk through the park brings you to the most famous front door in the world, Buckingham Palace. The king or queen lives here when they are in London since 1837. It is not really a house, it is more like a small town under one roof, with 775 rooms. But look up to the roof, and one small detail tells you everything. If a flag is flying, the king or the queen is home right now. When he or she leaves, the flag comes down, so the whole city always knows. Outside the gate, you can watch the changing of the guard. Soldiers in bright red coats and tall black hats march in and hand their duty to the next group. These are not actors, they are real soldiers, and no matter what, a tourist does not make them laugh. They must not move. It happens a few mornings a week and it draws a huge crowd. So get there really early and stand near the gates. There are two more places you really must see. First, St. Paul's Cathedral, the huge church with a big grey dome which you can see across the city. A man named Christopher Wren designed it after Great Fire of 1666, which burned the old city down, and it took him 35 years to finish. Go inside and climb the 259 steps to the Whispering Gallery. Stand on one side and whisper at the wall. A friend on the far side, 30 meters away, will hear you clearly. Because the curved walls carries your voice all the way around. Wren hid a clever trick inside the stone. Then walk to the Trafalgar Square, a big open space that works like the city's living room. When London celebrates, people gather here. When London is angry, they protest here. In the middle stands Nelson's Column, a very tall stone pillar with four huge metal lions guarding its base. Close by is a Piccadilly Circus, full of bright screens, moving crowds. Stand still for 5 minutes and it feels like half the world is walking past you. You have seen the old buildings. Now let us have some real fun. Start by going up high on the London Eye, a giant wheel besides the river, 135 meters tall. One slow turn takes about 30 minutes, and from the top, the whole city opens up beneath you. Here is a small secret. The eye was only meant to be temporary. The plan was to take it down after 5 years. That was back in year 2000, and it is still turning today. In London, the temporary things always remain seems to stay. When you come down, get onto the water and take a boat along the River Thames. This river is the only reason London exists. 2000 years ago, the Romans stopped here because it was the easiest place to cross. And the whole city grew from that one choice. From the boat, you glide past Parliament, under the bridges, and past the tower, all the way to Greenwich. If the eye gave you a taste for heights, London can go much higher. The Shard is the tallest building in the country. A thin tower of glass with a sharp point, over 300 meters tall. Near the top, on the 68th floor, there is a viewing platform. From up there, the London Eye suddenly looks tiny. But here is the insider trick. The best high view in London is completely free. It is called the Sky Garden, and it sits at the top of a building people call the walkie-talkie because of its shape. Inside, there is a real garden in the sky. Green plants and trees wrapped in glass looking out over the whole city. You paid nothing at all. You only need to book a free ticket online a few weeks ahead. So one view can cost about £40 while the other costs nothing but a little planning. London is quietly kind to the people who plan ahead. Back down on the streets, spend a morning at Borough Market. This market has been around for 1,000 years. Today, more than 100 food stalls fill the air with smoke and spice, cheese in tall piles, fresh bread and hot pans cooking away. Walk slowly, taste everything and enjoy getting a little lost. Now, here is another surprise. The great museums are free. The British Museum is free and it holds treasures from every corner of the world. Some countries quietly want the treasures back, and that argument is still not over it. The National Gallery is free. The Tate Modern, built inside an old power station, is free. The Natural History Museum with a huge whale hanging on the ceiling is free too. When your feet get tired, walk along the river on the south bank. There are street performances, old books sold from tables under a bridge, and the whole skyline lit up across the water. And notice what London did here too. It did not knock down the old power station down. It filled it with art instead. The same trick every single time. Now, let us eat. Here is a lovely thing about London food. Its whole history is right there on the plate because each dish belongs to a different time. So, let us begin at the start of the day with the breakfast. And this is not a small breakfast, it is the full English. It is one big plate piled high. Fried eggs, bacons, sausages, baked beans and grilled tomatoes. Don't forget the mushrooms and the fried bread. Often there is a dark round slice too, called black pudding. It is best to eat that first and ask what is in it later. This meal is not fancy. Working people created it to power them through a long hard day. It became popular in 1800s when the food got cheaper and every home could cook it. Find a small, simple cafe, order the full English with a big mug of tea, and you will not feel hungry for hours. This is where a London day begins. Next comes the food that fed the working city. Start with the classic, fish and chips. White fish in a crispy golden coat, a big pile of hot thick chips, some salt and a splash of sharp vinegar. It first appeared in the 1800s. Many people say one man, Joseph Mullin, opened the very first shop in East London in 1863. Through 2 world wars, the government kept this meal cheap so people could always buy it. It was the taste of getting through hard times. Then there is a Sunday roast. Every Sunday, families across the city cook one big meal together. Roast meat, crispy potatoes, vegetables and thick brown gravy. And there is always Yorkshire pudding, a soft, puffy kind of bread to soak up the last of the gravy. There is also bangers and mash, which simply means sausages and mashed potato, covered in onion gravy. People say the name bangers is old. Wartime sausages held so much water that they popped and banged in the hot pan. This food is not about looking pretty, it is warm, simple, comforting for a grey cold day. Now for something from the other end of the table, the most elegant meal in Britain, afternoon tea. It all began with one hungry woman, Anna, the Duchess of Bedford. Back in the 1840s, lunch was early and dinner was very late, so by 4 o'clock she was starving. She started asking for tea, bread and cake to be brought to her room. Soon she was inviting friends, and before long, all of the fashionable London was doing the same. A small private snack became a famous tradition. Real afternoon tea arrives on a stand of 3 plates. On the bottom, small thin sandwiches with the crust cut off. In the middle, warm cakes called scones served with thick cream and jam, and on the top, tiny sweet cakes besides a pot of freshly poured tea. Here is one small argument you will never win. Do you spread the cream first or the jam? The two parts of England have fought over this for years. Just pick a side and say nothing. Book a table at a grand old hotel, wear something a little smarter than normal and slow the whole afternoon down. This is the gentle, unhurried side of Britain. And here is the twist that explains the whole city. Britain's most famous dish may not even be British. It is chicken tikka masala, warm, creamy, and orange on almost every menu in the country. Many people say that cooks from the South Asia created it right here and changed it to suit British taste. One British leader even called it true national dish of Britain. Think about that. The newest food became the nation's favorite. London threw nothing away. It simply built the new on the top of the old. Even dinner tells the same story. You have seen London and you have eaten London, now you have to move through it. And here, getting around is half the fun. Let us go underground first. On to the tube. This is the oldest underground railway in the world. The very first line opened back in 1863 when steam trains powered by hot gas from boiling water ran through dark tunnels beneath the houses. Just imagine all that smoke. Today, there are 11 lines crossing the city like colored threads on the famous map. The newest one, the Elizabeth line, opened in 2022 and trains are long, cool and almost silent. Ride on old line and then the new one and it feels like quite time travel. On Friday and Saturday nights, some lines never stop at all. People call it the night tube and it keeps the city moving while you're asleep. And now the single most important rule in London. On the escalator, the moving stairs, you stand on the right and walk on the left. Break this rule and a stranger will make a small annoyed noise at you. That quiet noise is the most British thing you will ever hear. Above ground, look at the big red double-decker bus, the one with 2 floors. Here is the trick the locals will not tell you. Sit right at the front of the top floor. It turns a normal bus ride into the cheapest city tour in the world. Rolling straight past the big signs. Just do not bring cash because the buses do not take it. You simply tap a card and off you go. Then there are the black taxis and their drivers are not ordinary drivers. To earn the license, they must pass a famous test called the knowledge. They learn 25,000 feet completely from memory, riding a small motorbike around the city for 3 or 4 years until the whole map lives inside their head. Ask one of the fastest ways anywhere at any time of the night and they already know it. No phone needed. And here is a beautiful part. One tap of a single card connects all of it. A tunnel from 1863, a river Romans once crossed, and a train from the last year. Every layer of London alive at the same time and open to you with one touch. Let me be honest with you about London. It is expensive, it rains when you least expect it, people walk past and rarely smile at you. The trains get crowded and sometimes they just stop with no explanation at all. But then there is a moment. It is early evening, the lights come on one by one along the river. A red bus crosses a bridge and a big band, that's old broken bell, rings out over the water, just as it has for more than 1,000 years. And 1 second, 9 million strangers are all in the same place, all heading home. The old city and the new city stand side by side, lit up, sharing the same dark river. This is a city that keeps every version of itself. A broken bell still sounds right, a food from far away becomes a nation's favorite, a good story slowly becomes the truth. London does not ask you to love it. It is far too busy to even notice you are there. And somehow, that is actually why nobody ever leaves. That's London.